This is a Raspberry Pi 400. It's out today. It is a Raspberry Pi 4 computer inside a keyboard, which makes the whole computing experience with the Raspberry Pi a lot more compact. I really like this. It makes it so much easier to take it out and about because I have less wires. It also looks nice on my desk because I don't have a separate keyboard and the Raspberry Pi next to it. I just have this one unit. If you're wondering how this is also a computer, you've got all your connections here and on the back: USB, Ethernet, HDMI, power, micro SD, everything that you'd expect to have with a Raspberry Pi is built in. They've remade the board so it fits nicely within this size of the keyboard. So because I do plan on taking mine out and about with me, I thought it'd be kind of cool to make a case for it. I have a piece of leather already that's 12 inches by 12 inches, which isn't that much different actually in width compared to the keyboard itself. I think this keyboard is more around about 11 inches. Let's have a look. Yeah, so it's pretty much 11 and a bit inches, which means that I'm going to be limited to what I can do with the piece of leather. I've got a few other scraps, so hopefully I can use them as well to make up the excess. It also means on this way, because it is 5 inches, by the time it's gone around it, again, I'm not going to have a whole lot of leather in order to create any sort of closure on the case, so I need to figure that out as well. So let's give it a go. And my camera is stuck in autofocus, so I warn you in advance that there might be some focusing issues, but on the whole, I'll edit it so that's the least noticeable as possible. Wish me luck. And this is the final result. I'm actually really impressed with it, considering I didn't really have a plan coming into it. There are a few things that I would change. The main thing for me, the thing that's really going to bug me, is the placement of this screw. Ideally, it should be here. So as the cord comes around, it brings it down there as well and attaches here. The reason I didn't do it, there was sense behind it. Behind these screws on both sides is the leather and not the keyboard. So it means that they're not rubbing. If this had been here, then the back of the screw would be rubbing against the keys of the keyboard that would damage it. And obviously the point of the case is so the keyboard doesn't get damaged. If I was to do this again, I could put this in really early on and put that cork over it so it's still protected. But I think, if I want to, over time, if I find that this keeps pressed down and this keeps pulling up from the tension, I can swap it round. So I can twist this round, have it wrapped the other way, and then this will be the one that suffers. And so I can kind of balance it out over time. But all in all, I am really happy with it. As a working prototype, I think it's pretty cool. What I like about it as well is these cords. I can put things like the HDMI cable behind it to keep them all together when I'm taking it out. This leather's great over time. It does age, so it looks brown, but there's actually more of a red colour behind it. You can kind of see it on the edges as well, that it's red. They're two different types of leather, but they're very similar. So this is kind of more of a reddy brown already. So over time, as these rub, as it gets knocked around in my bag, it's going to age really nicely. That's why I bought this piece of leather to begin with. I didn't really have a project in mind for it ages ago. But it also meant I was limited to really what I could do with this case. A larger piece of leather would have meant I could bring this flap further down, maybe would have had a different fastening altogether. But yeah, I'm really happy with it. I think it does the job. It doesn't add too much bulk to the keyboard, so I can throw it in my bag and not worry that there's just too much extra padding. Yeah, I really like it. So I think it's a success. And if you want to know more about the Raspberry Pi 400, you can go to the Raspberry Pi website or rptl.io/400. And if you want to see me make more stuff in the future with no planning whatsoever, then just subscribe to the channel and you should see more. Yeah, take care.